Hi, Pam Fuller here for what is our last video update of the 2013 year. Hard to believe, but that's where we are. So we will once again, I'll explain what we know, what we're exploring, and then how you can be involved again in our typical agenda that we do for these updates. I do have one bit of kind of hot off the press news. The Program Decision Review Board meeting around the funding for the second phase of this building project, which is the ITS occupied space, happened yesterday. We did get approval for $11.5 million in the renovations. We'd originally had 12.5 in the project, so we were cut back a little bit, but considering this building was not funded to begin with, it was more or less an opportunity purchase. I think that's pretty good. So we'll be working continually with our design team and with OPP to figure out where we are and how much of everything we want we can fit in this building for the $11.5 million. So we thank the provost and David Gray for approving that, that funding. So some of the things we know is that we are finishing up phase 1 of Lion Path project. Again, I will say OPP has done a phenomenal job, moved mountains to get them in such a short time frame, and the place looks great. As a matter of fact, on the website you can see some updated pictures from our first design team meeting out in the building. We had that on November 13th, I believe. So you can see some of the renovations in progress on the 3rd floor of Lion Path. So please take a look at those. Right now we're waiting for the furniture, fixtures, and equipment, FF&E, to come in and be put in place hopefully over the holiday and into the beginning of January. They can move in then and start putting computers in place around January 20th, and hopefully Lion Path folks will be occupying the building before the end of January. So that's happening there. As far as the target date for the rest of us to still move in, we're hoping that it is between November and December in 2014. That, of course, is a very aggressive time frame as well. And so I once again am very grateful that we can continue moving ahead with our design and we weren't put on hold. So that's great. So we are in the design process with the design team, John Bolivar. We're using the same OPP staff. John Bolivar is an architect, is working with us. As a matter of fact, just this morning we looked at some first initial space layout for the 2nd floor, but again, this is an iterative process, so please work with your design folks to see where we are, and they'll additionally be getting more information from you. If we take a look at other things we know about parking, just as a review, this off-campus permit that we're hoping will be created might not be out really until July. So with the Lion Path folks, we'll be entering a meeting to make sure we take care of their parking needs, but we will have it all settled prior to the point that ITS staff would move out to that building. Again, once these permits are there, the $10 a month, they can be used back in commuter lots only back on campus. With the CATA bus route, you can see where that route falls right now. That is the tab for that's being picked up by the parking office. We will continue to work with the parking office to try and understand this big, huge culture change of moving really half of our staff off campus and how we work together. So I will continually appreciate your patience and kind of your goodwill in terms of understanding how we're going to move off and on campus and get our jobs done. So certainly we want to hear from you. Please continue sharing your thoughts around that, but know that we're working as hard as we can to get to make sure we facilitate you during your job. So if we continue to look at food service and dining, so as part of that $11.5 million, it cut back some of the funds that we would have for the work cafe. We're still going to work to get something in that space, and so as part of the design, we are still working with Dave Ginger, with Irving's downtown, to try and take a look at what kind of service we can provide in that space. So continually working with that, but we will know that on each floor we will have coffee stations and places to put lunches that are packed and keep those stored. So we're working on that as well. If we take a look at some of the things that we're exploring, certainly individual workspaces and collaboration spaces that are being factored into the design. We're also, well, now we know what our available budget is for those renovations and fit out, the 11.5 million, which again, a good portion of that goes also to upgrade services and systems. We're also leveraging resources around those different topics that you can see listed there on the screen. So we're continuing to do some work in those areas, and as we get more detailed information, we'll be sure to share that with you. So I also want to let you know that here are additional topics that we're exploring, leadership education. Now I say possible tours through the building. We would love to get some of our current ITS staff out to the building to get a sense of what it feels like. Certainly, depending upon how quick they start doing renovations in the other spaces, there are OSHA requirements where we may not be able to walk through. So we'll do the best we can to try and get tours in there for folks, but they'll probably be short tours and get a sense of what the building looks and feels like. Also doing some feasibility studies on the rest of the space that ITS staff will be vacating that move out to the new building. Again, a feasibility study just as an initial take as what would it cost to refactor space in the way we can better use it. That is no guarantee that we will be doing anything with those spaces, but know that we're looking at the spaces that will be left unoccupied for others to move into. So not being left behind, we're looking at the whole picture. And then also there will be a new building environment group that will probably start up again in the summer. There is some work with that though in a Yammer group that's allowing us to start sharing thoughts and continually to talk about the moves and issues they may cause or that you have thoughts around. So please explore that Yammer group. So when we think about your opportunities for input, the name there is right there, 300 Science Park ITS Move discussion. So you can become part of that Yammer group and give us your opinions on there. You can look for and complete that exercise facility survey. So there will be one coming out after the new year. We want to hear from you if you currently have an exercise pass, if you're thinking of getting one, so we can plan around how we use that space as well. Also, your design team reps are listed there on the website, and that's a direct link to that. So you can see both your design team and your space committee reps, and make sure that you share your thoughts with them. And then lastly, you can always email Nate or I with any questions that you have. So once again, thank you for your time. I wish you all a happy holiday break, restful, enjoyable, and we'll come back refreshed to continue our work on our new ITS space. Thanks so much.